Hello, wonderful people. You're welcome to Photographics Academy. All right, so we have something amazing coming. We are going to be learning quick tips and tricks in Photoshop. Some of them you're already used to, some of them you are not even aware that are there in Photoshop. If the ones you are used to, will just remind you and will just bring your attention to it. I promise you it's going to be an amazing class. Okay, so without waste of your time, let's get started. The first thing we're going to be learning is how to add rich color tones using black and white. Okay, so we'll just go to our adjustment layer, pick up black and white, go to your preset and select high contrast red filter. Then change the blend mode to soft light or even multiply. You can actually scroll through the blend modes and see the rich tones we've added for you. So just pick anyone that suits your image well. Anyone that suits your image will see how beautiful it's adding soft. So I'm just going to go and add it to soft light. All right, so this is before, this is after. See the way it's adding rich contrast to your image. All right, so the next one we're going to be doing, let's do it with another image, or rather, let's just use the same effect and apply it here, and that will be the next tips and tricks. So how do you do that? You can actually copy effects from one image to another. You can either press Ctrl+C on a particular layer, go over to your next document and press Ctrl+V. It's going to paste that layer, and that will be number 2. How to copy layers in Photoshop. Just Ctrl+C, go to the next document and press Ctrl+V. Look at that amazing effect. Before, after. So having done that, we're going to delete this so it doesn't get away with the next thing we're going to be doing. Now, the third thing we're going to be looking at, or the next thing we're going to be looking at, is bird eye view. Bird eye view, very simple. Press H on your keyboard and click any part of the image. Is going to zoom it in for you. You can just press H. Hold on a minute. Okay, so just press H and press any part of your image. You can actually zoom in and press the H. So any place you click, you are going to see this box appear there. Then if you leave the box, it's going to zoom that place in. Look at that. So if I take it towards the head, to zoom the head in. If I take it towards the grass over here, to zoom the grass in. So just press H and it's going to zoom stuffs in for you very closely. Hope you are cool. All right, look at it just like that, and we are good to go. So the next thing we are going to be looking at is how to use is a very important stuff that you may not be aware of. Most of the shortcuts of the tools in Photoshop have their shortcuts starting with the first word. Something like lasso tool. If you press S, it automatically, if you press L rather, it changes to lasso tool. But there's something else I want to show you about it. I want to let you know that when you press L or any of the shortcut and hold on it, it's going to immediately switch. It's going to immediately switch to that tool. But if you have it pressed down, you can actually use that tool even inside another place without having to change tool. For example, let's say that I'm working on my brushes. Let's say I'm working on my brushes like this, and I want to select a particular area to brush. So instead of just changing to lasso tool and coming back to brush, I can hold L, make a selection, and leave it. It will automatically take me back to brush, and I'll just paint what I want to paint. I know that most of you've been looking for this particular feature for some time now. Trust me, when I'm doing my frequency separation, I will want to use that in result. Well, it's quite boring to have to switch tools, all of that. Hope you are getting value. Go to the comment section, tell me if you are enjoying the class already. All right, so the next thing we're going to be looking at is how to use blank adjustment layers and blend mode to add rich tones to our image. All right, so it's a very simple trick. Go to your quick adjustment tool, pick anyone. Maybe we can just do solid color. Okay, let's leave solid color. It's going to apply something on our image. Let's just pick curves, something like that. You don't even necessarily need to do anything to the curves. Just come to the blend modes and changing it. You will see the way it's going to be adding rich contrast, some of them rich tones to your image. Look at that. Look at hard light, see before, see after. Let's look at what soft light is going to give us. Look at that extra contrast is giving. Let's just leave it there and try another one, maybe exposure, change it to soft light. Let's remove it. So see the way it's adding rich contrast to your image. That is how you can use blank adjustment layers to add contrast and effects to your image. So the next one we're going to be looking at is how to write text using your brush, how to write text using your brush. Okay, so let me create a blank layer. Let me just create a blank layer. I think I need to hide this. Let me fill it up with white. So we'll see what we are doing. Okay, so we'll have white. So if I pick up my brush and I want to write, let's say P, photographing. So I'm going to pick black. So let's put it this way. So if I try writing P, see the way it's lagging. See the way it's looking rough. Remember, okay, I think my flow is quite slow. Let me take it to 100. Okay, so see the way it's looking rough. It's not even looking smooth. And I have to do it, especially being that I'm using mouse. Now, there is a trick in Photoshop that will even allow you sign your signature, and it's going to look quite amazing. Let me show you that trick. So I'm going to go back. Now, make sure that your smooth is checked and increase it to 100%. Now, here is the trick. If I try writing P, it's going to take it on itself to make sure I have a smooth text. Look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. So, of course, it makes it lag sometimes, but it gives it a smooth text. So let me just try signing something. So look at the way it's signing signature for me. Okay, so let's say this is my signature. I think that is not quite clean. So let me just use this. Okay, so, and we have our eye here. I'll put a dot. Okay, so just pull it over. See the way the signature is cleanly signed. See the way the signature is cleanly signed just because the smooth is on. So you can use smooth to actually write text in Photoshop and have a very clean text effect. So I'm going to delete that. Let's go over to the next one. So the next one I'm going to be looking at is how to export images quickly from Photoshop. So instead of going to file and pressing export and doing all of that, there's a quick export tool in Photoshop that you can actually just, let's unlock this. Right click on your thumbnail or your layer. You're going to see quick export as JPEG or PNG. So look at it right here. So if your own is having, so I can just click quick export. And bam, I will save my image as JPEG and I'll continue. And of course, you can do this on multiple layers. Just select it, group them into one layer, right click, and you can equally export that group as a JPEG. Now, if your own is showing PNG, is because in your edit, your preference and your export preference, PNG is selected here. So just come over to this place and change it to JPEG and increase the quality to anywhere you want it to be. You can actually decide where to export to when you are doing quick export and everything is ready to go. So when you right click, you come to export as JPEG and you send it out. Hope you are getting value. So let's go over to the next one. And see the next one. So I'm going to flatten this. So let's use another image. I'm going to be using something. Okay, so I think I like this. Or this. Okay, so let's use this one straight up. Now, okay, you can use Alt key, copy anything in Photoshop. You can use Alt key to copy even effect, to copy mask, to copy text. So let's just do it. So I'm going to, let's say, create a curves here. So let me try making their face bright using mask, Control I, press B, paint the mask over his face, just their faces, just their skin, like this. Just over their skin like this. Like that. Just on their face. So we can just, maybe a bit of the hand. We can just concentrate the effect where we want it to be. And just concentrate the effect where we want it to be. It may be on her arm down here as well. Like this. Please, after writing your text, make sure you take your smooth back to 0. It can frustrate. It's going to lag your system. It's going to make the whole thing lag. And you wouldn't want that. Alright, so I think I'm done with the masking. Just a pick one. It doesn't need to be perfect. You just want to illustrate something. Okay, so let's say that after painting my curves, I want to add maybe a little saturation targeting the skin alone. So instead of doing clipping mask, you can use Alt key to copy the mask. So let's come to our hue and saturation, maybe increase the saturation a little. Now, the saturation is applied to the whole image. So instead of painting your mask over and over again, you can hold your Alt key, go to the mask and just copy it like this, drag it and go over to the next mask and place it. It's going to automatically replace the original mask that it has. So this is before saturation, this is before the saturation, this is after. It's copying the effect directly on them. Let's do another one. Maybe we'll go to, let's say we'll go to black and white. The same effect we did, go to black and white, change it to high contrast red filter. Make sure that the blend mode is changed to soft light or multiply. I think I prefer the soft light. It will drop down the opacity. So we do not want it on every part of the image. We don't want it on the skin. Hold your alternate and drag it over, and bam, you have replaced it. So let's group this so that we can see the before and after. So this is before, this is after. See the way we are able to add that rich exposure to the skin just by copying the mask and all of that. That is how you can copy mask in Photoshop using your Alt key. Now there's something else I want us to look at, how to straighten image. So I'm just going to maybe crop this image like this. I'm just going to crop this image like this, just in a way that it's going to slant just a little like this. Okay, so let's wait for that. All right, so I want to show you how you can straighten image in Photoshop using a tool in curves, in your crop tool rather, called straighten, using a tool in your crop called straighten. Okay, so looking at the image is now looking slanty, especially being that you saw when I cropped it. So one thing you can do is come over to the straighten over here, and just drag a line over your image, and it's going to align it. So depending on the angle that the image is tilting, if it's tilting upwards, you might consider doing it like this, just a little, and it's going to shift it. So now I want it to shift towards the left, and that's what I'm going to do. So go back to your straighten. I think I don't need to crop. Go back to your straighten, and let's just tilt it downwards like this, and it's going to shift. So just take your time and know exactly where it's going to give you a nice result. Think here is going to pull it bam like that, and press crop, and it's going to just use the content aware in Photoshop and align every other thing. That is how you can straighten your images Photoshop using the straighten tool in your crop. Okay, so having done that, I want to show you something else very important. Maybe we can use this. Okay, so let's say I apply a photo filter effect over here. So let's also do a cooling effect, then maybe come to my vibrance and increase the vibrance a little, something around here, maybe increase the saturation just a little, come to my exposure and contrast, my brightness and contrast, increase it a little, add a little contrast. I think that is too much. Maybe take it down, reduce the contrast to make it look smooth. All right, so we've been able to apply all this effect, but we want to do something else over this whole layers without even having to duplicate this and placing it over. And when you do that, it's going to replace every other effect you've created on that. So something you can do quickly, just come over to the upmost layer and press Ctrl Shift Alternate E. It's going to create a stamp visible layer that has every property that you've applied just below the layer. Every property you've applied below the layer is going to apply in that stamp visible layer. And by now you can actually delete everything you've done here, and you will still have all of them practically affected in the new stamp visible layer. So this is how you can actually manage layers in Photoshop if you are not a type that works with a lot of layers. And one other thing you can do with it is that you can actually decide to create a stamp visible layer above all of this, with that you don't want any of this to have you don't want it applying the effect of any of this. So let's say that all the effect I want is just the photo filter effect. So let's do it like this. All the effect I want is just the photo filter effect. Just come over the photo filter, press Ctrl Shift Alternate E. It's going to upload, it's going to create a stamp visible layer for you, having just the effect of that photo filter. Then you can just drag it over to the top. And now if you do before and after over vibrance and contrast, you are going to notice that the effect is no longer applied. So having created that, you can just drag these ones over and it's going to apply the effect. That is how you can create stamp visible layer in Photoshop using your Ctrl Shift Alternate E. So one other thing we are going to be looking at is how to use Alt to preview our mask, our layers, and all of that. So let's do let's go back to exactly what we just did. I think I'll be needing that. All right, so let me just delete this so you can see. Now, I want to just preview the effect of brightness and contrast. I want to just preview the effect of vibrance and vibrance, and preview the effect of photo filter. So instead of deselecting all of these to start applying it one after the other, one thing you can do is just to select your background layer, and select the layer you want to preview. Hold your Alt key and click on the eye. If you click on the eye, it's going to minimize. Sorry, you don't need to select your background. I think this will not allow us see exactly the effect of what we're going to do. Okay, so let's use exactly this couple over here and preview the effect. Okay, so I think this one is the best one to use for what we did. Remember, we already created a mask. Now, I want to preview just the mask on them. So what you can do is just hold your Alt, click on the eye of that layer you want to preview, and it's going to deselect every other layer and give you just that layer. Of course, you are not seeing anything right now because it's a mask mode. But if you are doing your manipulations, this is where you are going to need it a lot. If you are doing your manipulation. So one more thing you are going to do, especially when you are doing masking, you can hold your shift, click on the mask itself, and it's going to off the mask. So you can see the image without the mask and see the places you can actually apply the mask on. Okay, so let's just do it with a group. Let's select all of this, Ctrl G, create a mask over the group, and go copy this and place it over here in the group. Sorry, was supposed to copy. So copy it and place it over here. So what this is going to do is that the mask is going to just be applying the effect we've applied over the image. So if I press Shift and deselect this mask, it's going to off the mask in every other area in the image. The reason you're not previewing it is because I have a lot of masks active here. So let me just delete all these masks so we can just preview exactly what we are looking at. Let me delete the mask and use just the one on my group. All right, so remember, we'll have this mask off and it's showing us the effect on the whole image. Hold your shift again and on it, and it's going to take it back to the original way. So to on and off your mask, hold your shift, click over the mask, and you'll see it just like that. The next thing you can actually do in the same masking is that you can hold your Alt, click over the mask, and it's going to show you just the area you are selected, just the area you've masked. Press your alternate again and click on it, and it's going to open your image up again. And the last thing we are going to be looking at is our rotation in Photoshop. So let me just drop this effect. Now let's say that you do your frequency separation on dodging and burning, but you don't want to be painting left and right, up and down. Maybe you just want to maintain a particular stroke pattern. One thing you can do is to hold your R and rotate your image. So rotate it to any angle you want to paint. After painting, you take it back to the original state. If it's hard for you to take it back to the original state, just click on Reset View and it's going to take it back to what it was before you started painting. Thank you very much for watching this amazing video. I hope you've gotten a lot of value. Rush down straight to the comment section. Tell me your best trick. Tell me your best tip that you've learned in this video. And please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the like and notification button. Get notified every single time we drop a new video. See you on our next video.